The program is still listening to now. Good morning, Salone. We come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Inside the program, we continue for look at more issues.
Well, we're going on our Parliament. So, some member of Parliament yesterday, Wednesday, July 27, being agreed for the Public Elections Bill 2022 and turn them to law. We don't replace the Public Elections Act of 2012. Well, this act, they talk about how the country conduct election, them must remember them of parliaments being denied some and the provision them will be inside the proposed bill. Well, waiting be happen at parliament yesterday as they finally agree for this act. There we listen to the reports we Musa Kamara put together.
After almost 3 weeks of tense debate from both sides in Parliament for sake of the Public Elections Bill 2022, member them na Parliament don't agree for make this bill turn law. We don't replace the Public Elections Act of 2002.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I report that the bill entitled Public Elections Act 2022, having gone through the committee of the whole House with amendments, I now move that the bill be read the third time and pass into law.
Honorable members, the question is that the bill entitled the Public Elections Act 2022 be read the third time and passed into law. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Have it. Have it.
This be Wednesday, July 27 this year. We are inside the early hour of Wednesday, July 27 sitting. The speaker been stand down the house for 30 minutes for make them get private meeting with leadership of political party them na parliament. And we say this proposed 30-minute meeting for sake of the Public Elections Bill be end up for be over 3 hours meeting. And after this meeting, the speaker be announced decide them when they don't pull comments from the Public Elections Bill before they turn them to law.
One was the definition of district block representation. That definition has been amended. The other concerns the NIN number, clause 13. That one has been removed from the bill.
Other clause where them pull from the Public Elections Bill before them turn into law. Now clause 55C where been they suggest say no less than 30% reserve seats for women them for be MP from each district, but MP them not being agreed for this, as they say it is against section 27 of the 1991 Constitution, we say any special treatment for sake of election based on race, sex, and other things them na discrimination.
The next one is clause 55C that dealt with reserved seats. That too has been removed. The other thing I need to emphasize is why we removed reserved seats. We came to the conclusion that the indication of reserved seats in the bill offended the provisions contained in section 74 of the Constitution very clearly. And if I may add, it's also consistent with the provision contained in the Constitution, section 27, I believe it is, subsection 4, and we decided instead to do away with that.
Clause 57 na the bill been they talk about the PR system, and this now one way they pull come out na the bill before it turn to law.
The other sticky point was clause 57. That too has been deleted in its entirety. It's been replaced by the following formulation: all public elections other than paramount chief members of parliament shall be as prescribed in the Constitution of Sierra Leone, 1991. Act number 6. Those were the major sticky points, and I'm very pleased to announce that a consensus across the aisle has been reached on those sticky points, and accordingly they have been removed.
After the passage of the bill to law, I meet with Honorable Sama Tunyuma, leader of government business na Parliament.
I feel good because people them if you say na dangerous thing they can do. They forget say we didn't have to represent them for make law. We na in our mandate na the constitution. We na lawmakers, and so they can normally call we. So we believe say when challenges and can like this, we for brace up, we stand up, we do consultations and come up with something very good. So all this long time we will take, we make them public, we na the view, we na the canaya, people they see, they follow up, and for make sure say we be accountable and transparent to the people we serve. So today I feel delighted, I feel happy, I feel good about it.
Clause 57 of the bill gets for do with the PR system and they been pull and come out before they turn the bill to law. So I ask the leader of government business as to who's Salone day now with the use of the PR system for sake of the next election.
PR is the constitution. Who's Salone stand? Salone stand with the constitution. Salone, everybody know the constitution, even the president. We stand with the constitution. It is inside the constitution. So for state and the bill, if any law we make, we not consistent with the constitution, in non and void. So the PR in the constitution, the district block system, they don't use it at this parliamentary. So it is part of the constitution.
Preempting the situation now, people can foresee the PR system in the next election.
I'm not going to tell that. We reach 38A, you will find out for saying that the president get right for do that. Not to me go can't talk for the president.
The main opposition APC party been get issue with this bill, the term where the Attorney General and Minister of Justice been lay in a parliament after the passage of the bill and met with the leader of the opposition, Honorable Cheno Majuba.
Well, basically I feel largely satisfied. Largely satisfied because I believe say all the areas that we may get contention we don't address. We get for do with the NIN number, the PR, the safe seats, and how then they handle overvoting. These are areas they all want to address, and how them for council, when them for council. These are all areas we want to address.
So the opposition satisfied?
Largely, yes, we are satisfied. As I said, you're not going to be satisfied 100% because we are humans, we're dealing with humans. But
even though they pulled the PR system from the bill before it turned to law, but the 1991 constitution gave provision we provide whether or not Salone go use the PR system. Make her ask the leader of the main opposition but the issue of PR for Seka the next election.
I don't know if you've been in at the chamber till where speaker making statements. It was very clear that clause 57 has been expunged and replaced by a particular clause where he said they will conduct the elections pursuant to Act number 6 of 1991, that's our constitution.
What in this they say?
It say exactly what in the constitution say.
We can foresee district block system in this coming election.
No, I don't believe so. Definitely, I don't believe so.
But when he asks other quarters, then can tell say that the president get the rights for declare whether the PR system
within certain parameters, and the parameters are not in existence.
So you're not convinced say Salone for going to the PR system going into the next election?
Definitely, yes. I don't believe so.
What will bring the conviction?
Because of just what I don't tell you just now.
As the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Lamin Tarwali, believes say the public elections bill we don't turn to law now, they give strength to democracy for Seka.
Commander Parliament also listen to reports where Musa Kamara put together for Sika the Public Elections Bill 2022, where Member of Parliament agree for yesterday. We tell you na one pound headline them. Na one pound the headline them earlier said today we can look at they change them we Member of Parliament agree for, decide them we they not agree for. Well, we get members of Parliament them at the studio where they can tell listeners them waiting at some of the reasons them we make the members of Parliament them not being agree for certain clause them and how them eventually being get for agree for accept this particular bill after so many debates and discussions them with the members of Parliament them we don't get for Sika this 2022 public elections bill. Well, at the studio this morning, so far I want to introduce with studio guests them we don't get. I will start with Honorable Kargbo from the All People's Congress APC Party in Parliament and a member of Parliament for constituency 077 Nalunge and other side them under that constituency. Good morning and welcome to the program, Honorable.
Good morning, Mabel. Good morning, 98. Good morning, Mifambule Naos.
We also get at the studio this morning Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Member of Parliament, Constituency 132 Nalomli and other area them under in constituency. And it represents the Salone People's Party, SLPP in Parliament. Good morning and welcome to the program, Honorable.
Good morning, Mabel. Good morning, Sierra Leone. Good morning, 98.1.
Well, we also expect a civil society activist for joining at the studio this morning for we can look at this bill where the Member of Parliament agreed for yesterday. As we don't listen to the reports where Musa Kamara puts together, it don't analyze waiting be happen at Parliament, but another Member of Parliament another Parliament they represent the people. They might start with Honorable Kargbo. Firstly, just describe to listeners and because we see, especially from the opposition angle, the concerns that we have been get during the debates and also so many discussions and controversies we've been the for some of the clauses we've been inside this particular bill. We Member of Parliament being passed to law yesterday. Just start for tell listeners and first how you go describe the kind debates where Member of Parliament be really debate this particular bill before finally we agree for them yesterday.
Basically, I want to seize this opportunity for thank you to the Speaker and leadership of Parliament because we see the first day where we for waiting for lady bill. We see the heavy security in the Parliament. We see people and we see the place really unconducive. But with negotiation, dialogue, sit down and make sure because basically Parliament now lobby. Sit down, call the team to a meeting. After that, we resolve amicably. So this is, a testimony of the fact that dialogue can be the best solution to everything. We una not talk, una not understand on ourselves. And basically we reach at the end of the bill where even the public know how we ourselves until we inform them say, yeah, we don't done the Public Elections Act, of 2022. So to me, waiting we do yesterday, now a lesson where we for the emulate as Parliament, not to alter we for the media for the wrong reasons. With negotiations, dialogue, we can resolve at solutions very easily and very amicably.
Now, when you look at this bill, so the first and second term with the bill, the opposition, the APC not being debate on whose level una reach who una think say yes, before begin take part in this debate, say it on to also.
Well, firstly, the day we then go with the bill not privilege. It was on Monday and the Tuesday they learn. And Tuesday we they learn and do first reading and second reading. Normally, na second reading Parliament they debate the bill. But women say no, this bill now 141 pages. We no need for debate in haste. We need ample opportunity for we read the bill. Now we acquaint ourselves with waiting there inside the bill. Now after that we go there now a positive position for able debate the bill. And basically now that make we not be participate in the first debate. Then after we go read the bill, we see there are some constitutional clauses then within inside this bill, and the constitution is very, very clear. Section 108 subsection 9(2)(9)(b) is very clear. It say even if na copy, you copy the content of the constitution word for word, you reenact na other law, you for ensure say you secure a 2/3 majority vote for pass that clause inside that other law even without amendment, even without modification. Once you just copy within the constitution and other law, that law they need 2/3 majority for pass na Parliament. You see, so we be raise the issue na Parliament. Say, we get some constitutional requirements in this bill, and we need for look into them. As Parliament, so that we don't can amend the constitution through this bill. So waiting Parliament do, and like I say, through and through, there has been that kind of, consensus day, and because basically everybody they listen to in company. So waiting Parliament do now for ensure say they come with constitutional instruments for the amendment of 3 clauses then in the constitution will be there inside the bill. The first clause. Subsection 8 of section 32, we change the word misbehave to gross misconduct. Then a constitutional provision where we amend as a parliament separately. And the other separate clause where we amend now subsection 2 of section 32, we create 5 regions, 5 commissioners instead of 4. You know, say now 5 regions there. So the 4 commissioners are for the 4 previous regions. So there was no way President could appoint one more if the Constitution not make provision for that day. So we've been doing. And the other one is subsection 1B of section 76. We reduce the time where you for resign if then they pay you from the consolidated fund. You know, they reduce them from 1 year to 6 months. But then they end up being passed in a parliament. So basically, we've not been participating at the 2 debates then because we've been feel say the first one has been too early. We need to get a proper understanding of the bill, and the second one we feel say we for amend constitutional provisions then inside the bill separately, and also Parliament do then carry the separate constitutional amendment there.
All right, Honorable Kargbo, Member of Parliament Constituency 077. Continue for the week at the program Good Morning Salone. We will come back to you shortly.
We come to we other studio guest. We now Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte. They represent the Salone People's Party SLPP inside the program. Good morning, Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte, and welcome to the program Good Morning Salone once more.
Good morning, Musa.
Yes, we don't see the passage of the Public Elections Bill into law as a member of the ruling Partina Parliament. What do you make up of the passage of the bill?
Well, firstly, like my honorable colleague here starts, I want to say thank you to the leadership in my parliament, the speaker, the leader of government business, leader of the opposition, for the way we manage ourselves throughout the process. You know, the general populace they expect a very rancorous parliament until the end of this public election. Like my honorable colleague say, we see when the bill was first tabled, we see the leader of the opposition they express discontent about the gallery size, and the fact say they were not just visitors, they were invited as a claim. But in the next sitting, the next adjournment, we see a lot of policemen, they like say now some tension or some serious what they can go happen. But we progress with the bill because of a very good leadership management. We progress with the bill because we use consultation, we use all the necessary parliamentary tax system for ensure say we do what's right for Sierra Leone. And now to the bill itself, you go realize say this bill, if they seek for, there are so many things that way either na imagine issues or na issues that way already be existent in the 2012 bill, but they were not done properly. For example, the amendments to section 32(8), where they talk about the removal of an electoral commissioner for misbehavior in the constitution. But already in subsection 1 of section 5 of the 2012 bill, already be done include the word gross misconduct without a constitutional amendment. So it's for be continue for being wrong if we just can't say okay, we state what's in there now 2012 because it is already in existence. So in as much as the opposition minister we do the constitutional instruments, already there was a law already covering it, but we decided to bring the constitutional instruments forward. Also, the issue of the commissioners, everybody knows say we don't get a census in 2015. That census they lead to the introduction of 2 more new districts, Karine and Falaba. And that census they also usher in a new region, a northwest region. But leading to the 2018 election, it became happen say there was no way for the president appoints the commissioner for northwest. So in the constitution, now before commissioners then they, but in reality, on the ground, now 5 commissioners are supposed for the because now 5 regions then they, because they say 1 commissioner should represent 1 region plus the chairman of the electoral commission of Sierra Leone. So if I be big wrong, for let we continue for say okay, the chairman for the electoral commission of Sierra Leone will they appoint a regional returning officer. Meanwhile, that regional returning officer not gets the power where an electoral commission forgets. So because of that, this bill seek for bring the commissioner for Northwest region, and the constitutional instrument was also laid. So in a whole, we look at the issue of overvoting, violence in election, and cancellation of election results for violence.
Okay. Looking at the constitutional amendments, then we have been concerned of the opposition will not take part. But earlier we start for talk, you make mention of the tension we've been there around the bill, and it come to a time even we were the reports on the bill will not for internal parliaments have been issued, and when the actual debates come, we see it being tense between MPs and even the committee stage. We see the speaker when issue tense, he say well low stick pin. And if we don't come to a pass that we get plenty stick pins them, and all of a sudden after the committee stage it's passed easily. How Parliament arrive at that conclusion, and as member of the ruling party in Parliament, would you make up of the level of negotiation at Parliament before the passage of the bill?
Okay, for start, the issue of protecting members of Parliament, it is squarely in the hands of the Speaker. And if any member of Parliament feels threatened waiting at the chamber by the gallery, then you therefore institute additional security measure, because at the end of the day, they are not just there as members of Parliament, but they represent Sierra Leone. So the cost for replacing one member of Parliament is so huge that it's easy for you institute additional security measure than you allow anything happen to the member of Parliament. They will go lead to the replacement of the member of Parliament there. For example, at some point we see on social media where the Honorable Alusain we get hit by somebody. Nobody will claim responsibility for that day. You cannot say na person wey come, maybe say na party person. Sometimes a person wey honorable Alu don't get some other friction somewhere else, as the case may be, or sometimes a party person. But the protection of the member of Parliament now the most important thing for the Speaker. So now make you see additional security, because the team will don't reach that point there. To the point of negotiation, in Parliament there is one thing that will always continue to remain in Parliaments across the world: dialogue. It depends the way the Speaker be the stick on the bill. You realize say now be the areas they will be so contentious, and if we say we dwell on a contentious area then until we get result inside the chamber, we'll not be able to move forward with the bill. So the best thing for do now before ensure we set down, they put her in abeyance, whilst we continue with the other provisions and the other clauses them we now either new clause or now existing clause, but we see say the situation not change from 2012 to that point there. But in the end, we're able for dialogue, we're able for go back, sit down, talk, look at all the issues, then they rephrase, who's our need for rephrase, rearrange, who's our need for rearrange, and ensure say anything we need for protect the integrity of the election be enhanced and be included in the bill.
So it's always you don't talk, especially the area we get for do with security of members of Parliament and that of dialogue. Not to the first time this way bill they gonna Parliament for the members of Parliament and debate them and pass them, but we also see the kind of tension with this public elections bill being come now the well of Parliament, and also the security issues from the ruling members of Parliament where you know one of them, you didn't have the ruling party and you didn't have Parliament. So what are some of the lessons them we una learn from this whole issue we happen during the time when be the debates the public elections bill, taking into consideration the kind of people them we been the first say we makes the opposition them be the complaints say they're not safe and all of the issues, and then we come out. So it's una learn.
Well, the first thing we learn are that we don't need for create panic to the public.
We as in
members of Parliament. When I mean members of Parliament for both the ruling and opposition. We realize say the height intention for this bill come as a result of the number of engagement the way MPs they may only get now, radio station, social media, they talk about PR, because the entire attention.
Was that a genuine crowd where we been see the first day of the bill?
The first day of the bill, let me tell you, the attendance of people in the Parliament, mostly not organized for those MPs.
Now genuine constituents and more way being here, you say this bill they go Parliament, we just grab Silla go Parliament.
Genuine constituent like where they take the woman them provincial area for the customary land bill, because at the end of the day, every bill where they can at Parliament, you get a constituent group we get interest in them.
Now who's group in the day?
The group of the people of Sierra Leone. People of Sierra Leone coming from across Sierra Leone, representing the reflection of political parties in Sierra Leone.
Would I invite them?
They cannot be invited. They cannot be invited to Parliament. Parliament is a public space. Parliament na the people's house. Anybody will come, hence they go through security checks. Whether you na APC dominated, whether you na SFP dominated, whether you na NGC, whether you na C4C.
So I've been surprised for seeing kind people and the na the well that they that first day.
We cannot be surprised because what we discuss the Commission of Inquiry bill. The people of Sierra Leone were there from morning till 12 a.m. Till dawn. So why should we be surprised? We the first time this we don't discuss issues with contentious, where the people that they attend, and we then go stay with you right across. So foresee the number for that kind of bill the way MPs they don't engage radio stations or don't talk about PR people. Most of the generation out there right now, I'm telling you, not ever take part by any election for those proportional representation. So some man go there for go learn and understand first of all what is proportional representation. They've never had it. Some man don't go do the NCR registration. They don't know what's in the outcome. They don't understand what's in the national identification number. So these were the issues in the public domain. So some man say, okay, out of curiosity, let me go see. Last year they debate in the parliament. Let understand what the issues there.
All right. Okay. Continue for the between at the studio. Your name now, Honorable Ibrahim Tawa, a member of Parliament for constituency 132 Alumni and other area. Them today we will look at the public elections bill. Member of Parliament don't agree for yesterday.
The program is still listening to Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We will bring you this edition of the program. Musa Kamara and Aminim.
And Mina Mebel Kaba.
Inside the program, we welcome we other studio guests. We Marcella Sambasise, in the chairperson for National Elections Watch. We body of civil society where they work on good governance issue, especially around election. Once more, good morning and welcome to the program, Madam Marcella Sambasise.
Good morning and thanks for having me, and also I'm going to introduce myself as the Executive Director for Campaign for Good Governance, because most of waiting I can talk now today now issues we border around good governance and how to promote them processes there.
Now, today we talk about the public elections bill. We don't turn to law now. We don't replace the 2012 Public Elections Act. As the chairperson or the executive director campaign for good governance, first of all, what do you want to make up of the bill before in passage into law?
I think one of the things that I can state categorically at the start, this particular debate, it came to the public in a very wrong footing, very wrong and deceptive footing, to the extent that democracy promoters we really shocked, because that was never the intention. The intention of the reforms. Pardon?
You say it came to the public, it being very deceptive. What be deceptive, bottom?
It came to the public in a very controversial manner. People don't take sides on the bill, and the intention of the reform not to be in controversy. The reform don't start immediately after the elections, and some of the conversation around waiting inside the public elections bill, it don't take as recommendation there as early as 2012. Some even dates back, because the essence of electoral reforms now for democratic development, you know, as elections observers, you know they can't do election 2018. You come back, you can't do in 2023 for give the same kind of reports. So the pattern is in between elections, because it's a field that is growing. In between elections, let's get for talk about the laws. And so when you talk about the laws, it give results that were very progressive. It results in clear rules in the electoral process, because some of the rules that they were not clear and I keep intention. It also they foster citizens' participation, and as I say, they reduce avenue for contestation. So when you look at the laws critically, you say, okay, now 2018 elections, now them place here we really get problem, and one of them have been the fixed date for election. Now one of the foremost issue. The other thing, once the MPs them are they listen to the honorable this morning when they talk, they presenting everything is fine. It's not fine. With some of us, it's not fine, because in all of this, our citizens' participation are in the loss, inclusion are in the loss, and the women them disadvantaged in this respect. The reserved seats for women enough anyway into the law. In fact, the first thing where both sides of the divide kick, and we're very unfavorable to women. Now the 12-month timeline for resignation. We talk about the requirement that public servants must resign 12 months before elections. And that they affect one seriously, right? And the recommendation was to reduce it to 6 months. You know, it fosters participation, especially community participation. For women, you know, the role of women, we all know in the society. For that woman, they resign 12 months and work, and most of them either a community nurse or, for example, a teacher. They're not able that resignation day. And you they think say if we want most of the educated women, then that field they we really want for participate and contribute. So that particular clause 9 force then kick out. And so we begin wonder say that the one that will actually begin be proponents of this bill immediately in reach na parliament, there's serious contention, bring alala and confusion. They do not know the history of Usayo Dentia Komo. And misunderstand them completely. It was genuine reforms and it was owned by elections observers and civil society.
So what do you think
society they part of?
What do you think say missing? Because like how you don't state, not till now this discussion begin about the thing them will be inside this particular bill where they don't go turn to law. So I remember them they even get national conference, society members them in there, and other people and go discuss and agree on finally because before the documents go reach parliament. Like you don't begin make mention of the clause where them pull we get for do with the 1 year where it in the constitution where civil servants them for resign if they want for going to elections. The civil society and other people and will be in that conference, we don't go agree to them for reduce them to 6 months. But when they reach our parliament, we see the members of parliament them not agree at all, but maintain the 12 months where it day when at the 1 year. What do you think say missing for people go don't agree outside, but when they reach our parliament, when are the people's representative then they not agree for waiting civil society and other body them be don't agree for earlier.
You see, when it comes to, there is always a time for politics, there is a time for process. And we can always say when it comes to process, it's country first. When it comes to process, it's country first. It's not partisan interest. So we are very sick. Me and one person will be really, I was totally off the conversation. I not even participating in that conversation because it was about why can't we do things? We've done it so well. In fact, I would say with authority, the reform process up to the time before you go parliament now be one of the most consensus building initiative. It went through all the processes of acceptance. It was consultative. We discussed the issues.
The members of parliament they be well informed about what to make on a result say for go to 6 months.
The members of parliament, in fact, the processes of participation and democracy, we promote it, but the politicians are those who benefit from it anyway. Now then they benefit from them. So they inform. So when it comes to issues where the two parties can coalesce, they do. Because they know say their interest they at stake. More people will come to the fore. We open it up for more political participation. And then they don't limit as I talk the issue of the minimum 30% quota. Affirmative action has been high on the agenda. No member of parliament no go do we no go say we not all lobby them and make them understand why in essence it's important for the women they represented in all phases of society. It's not even about political participation, it's about social empowerment. We cannot take 30% of our population and continue for marginalized them.
No.
The laws and processes for be such, and we think say the best way for get women. Look at what is happening in the national primary school exams, for example. Look at what is happening in the basic education exams, for example. The girls are doing absolutely well. Do we want to? I mean, we are moving into a world of science, of technology. The girls then they perform. Do we want to continue to keep them and let them?
So you think that political reason make the MP they not agree for accept a particular clause there?
I didn't get the question. Thankfully, I'm in the studio with two of them. So we don't campaign enough. That is what I'm saying. That we make sure say, you see, legal reforms and in fact, the Constitution of Sierra Leone equally fall within this ambit. Legal reform, that's something where they discuss dispassionately.
No.
You need to discuss with vested interest.
No.
You then look at the future of the country. And when you look at the systems then of political and legal reforms, you they bring diverse interests then together. Not a public you they can't discuss them. Because reasonability not happen in a public. All my want appeal to a political base. And then the conversation will degenerate into partisan discourse. No, you sit down in a very focused, people advance the argument. In 2013 to 2016, for example, where the panel, the 80% panel, when they discussed the legal, the constitutional reforms, then they did hours on just one issue. Everybody get a time for advancing reasoning, convincing company. But when you come at studio, the thing was so checkered. And I've been the one that said, why are we doing this? Because a lot of investments don't go into the reform process. And as I say, this particular electoral cycle from 2018 to date, it don't be the most engaged where the Electoral Commission, partners and stakeholders, then don't sit down, then don't look at the electoral reforms. As I say, it bring value, three important value. Now, democratic development, it ensure participation of groups that were left out, and equally so, it bring clear rules of engagement. And I want for posit this morning, say, this particular law on, you know, the 2:1.
Now, let we look at.
Okay, continue.
Now, let we look at the one area where you raise concern. We now the safe seats. We now been clause 55C now the bill. We then pull before it's on to law. And now one side we say you disappointed as woman, as member of parliament, they not represent the interest of woman them. But the speaker give a reason say, and what to make MP them be disagree with them now that it is against the constitution of Salone. We go to section 27 where they talk about any special treatment for any category of people now discrimination based on their race, sex, or any other way. And constitutional amendments now one area where people be required say if it be done before this section 55C turn into law now the new clause now the new bill before they turn it into law. We said the woman them be there at this moment for rally around MPs them and also the AG for ensure say can the constitutional amendments laws in our parliaments make them debate them and pull them there before them turn this one to law.
So the question of who side woman them been there, not a question at this time. I tell you the level of engagement will happen. Every member of parliament has been engaged, either by in female compatriot, but you know, when the debates degenerate into vested interest, national interest they lost. And I saw people who are allies in this process, who personally, as head of campaign for good governance, we had one-to-one engagement, repeated engagements with, not able for support a position where they promote their own welfare. Because the whole thing is about participation. If we think, say, people not even able to see the logic up to now, probably because of cultural perspective, because of the barriers, the way they face women them, people they're not able to see the logic why women them for be included. And we don't explain this several times. If the constitutional amendments don't happen for so many things. So, but when it comes to women, then constitutional amendments for be a barrier, no. In fact, one of the things that we don't call for almost there, we don't talk, say, the constitution for cater for the needs of the democratic society. And one of the critical value of democratic society now inclusion. So what did the parliament pass? Where they actually passed, waiting be then a clause 59. Clause 59, I first passed the post system, and nomination of candidates, now the tap pan. A nomination in the tap pan. Nomination not they translate into representation. It don't give you extra work for do. In a first past the post system, you go for go lobby excessively. Say woman they wanna put in a winnable seat, because even with the 3:1 ratio, the woman they know they translate into representation. The only tell where this could make real meaning, now if not a PR system where the party then they put forward a party list. So we are still talking about look, that's why I like what you say, maybe I'll say let's learn from this process. Let it be a lesson learning process. Going forward, let the parliament and the political representatives then consider, say, the affirmative action for women and inclusion, because it's a step forward for social empowerment. Minimum 30% quota, let we try as best as possible for make it happen.
Okay, continue for
And we get another Giwi law. Let we consider, and seriously, I really speaker they talk say after all of this, you know, we go consider the Kiwi law, and equally so, let me know say whilst we debate all of this, the reform not just tap na the Public Elections Act, the PPRC bill equally there, let we not lose sight of itself get very progressive clauses.
The program Good Morning Salone they continue, and 18 minutes after 8 and the time from the studio clock, we come back to the studio guest them from that short break the way we just take, and we just be listening to Marcella Sambasisi from Campaign for Good Governance begin lay the premise of concerns them where they come from the bill where members of parliament them don't agree for yesterday. And when they come over to the members of parliament now, we just don't begin look at some of the issues them inside the bill, the thing them we wanna not agree for and the thing them we wanna agree for. And at the second from the queue from Marcella Sambasisi we get for 2 weeks. One of the things them we una the members of parliament them not agree for we get for do with the woman then safe seat and safe the time where them be one for the one day we not see the in civil servants work, we want for contest election, wait for be 6 months, then we don't agree at the national conference say if for be 6 months, but the members of parliament them wanna maintain the 12 months where they na the constitution, and also the safe seats for the woman them where they may want for let the inside this bill where pass the members of parliament them not being agreed for pass this particular clause. Let's start with you, Honorable Abdul Kargbo constituency 077 and Nalunge another area them you represent the APC party in parliament. One of the members of parliament them waiting on an issue with the one we get for do with woman and safe seats and safe the period where somebody for don't resign if you know say one for contest public election where now 12 months then we want for go 6 months on an agree. Waiting at the problem we want to get with them two issues and they.
Well, firstly, I want to say that this parliament passed the 30% quota for women, because when you go now 59-2, the state say for every 3 nomination where the party they do, 1 for the woman. You say at least 1 for the woman. So meaning if the party do 3 nominations, it can possibly say if more than 1 be woman. Whether not the first past the post, you know, when at the constituency system. Law take for example, Kenema and Potloko. Potloko we get 10 seats there. So this law shows say at least you forget 3 women where the party for nominate for symbol na neck. You see, and when you go Kenema then get 11 seats there. You know, it should say at least, you know, 3 women and for day, almost 4 women and for day where you know where the party for nominate. And SLPP now they win all the seats then at Kenema. APC now they win all the seats then at Potloko. So whichever seat you recommend for woman definitely they go in parliament. This current parliament we do so. Potloko we not get no woman. You get some other districts themselves we not get no woman. But with this law, it's not possible for the districts we know they get woman representation at parliament, because 59-2 clearly states say for every 3 nomination where the party they do, you know, for ensure say 1 of them na woman. Then also you talk about the reserve, the 1 year resignation. You know, the 1 year resignation where you know they propose for the 6 months. You know, members of parliament then get a reservation about that day. And then they not a woman they no more in the effect. Because you get man themselves we were resign 6 months to election instead of the 1 year where they put to election. We get man then now we want even contest 2023 election. We not resign it.
So you think they wanna do justice to that particular clause and they wanna also?
The one where we for me I feel say the one where we say every 3 nomination, any 3 candidates we nominate, 1 for be woman, 1 for be woman at least. I feel say now justice we do to the woman. This will increase female representation at parliament, and this will make sure say you know the voices of women be represented in every district in this country. Now we get several districts that we women they know they as members of parliament. But with the enactment of this, why we not go into the reserve seat? We find out say most of the clauses that we omit, what we say no law no put. Now clauses that we get constitutional implication and then get constitutional implication, and the constitutional amendments where they been go with not cater for them particular. Like for example, this reserve seat they create another category of members of parliament. 74 is very clear. 74(1) talk about paramount chief, members of parliament as one category. Then we get ordinary members of parliament as another category. So for now we enact the reserve seat, we for create another category of reserve seats. So if we not create another constitution, if we enact any law, now against the constitution we go.
Now, Honorable, the arguments now earlier the una party not being great take part in the debate because of constitutional amendments. Then at this moment, why una not been pick them up as an MPs them for be one of the instruments them with them for amend because it in the bill and also in the constitution?
In fact, we position that all the constitutional amendments that we inside the bill, then for carry a constitutional instrument, we for attend to the all. We not even select say pull some, left some. So we have the expectation say everything we get for do with the constitution, we inside this bill, then for carry separate constitutional amendments, say we for attend to. I'm not even excluding the other category, winner 74 for women. You understand? Because it also gets constitutional provision. You understand? But like what we say, the constitutional instrument that was taken to parliament only get 3 constitutional clauses then where we amend as members of parliament. Even the dual citizenship is not then at the constitutional instrument where then taken to parliament, you see. And parliament basically the debate or the attend to waiting day before we. But not so that the normal we remove now the act, now the act now. We
will cancel about the other side the way on remove as well. We just been one for begin advocate some as the concern come from civil society activists way na Marcella Sambasisi. But continue for the between at the studio, Honorable Abdul Kargbo of constituency 077 Alunge. Let we just ask the same question to Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte because most of what's in the inside this bill we're gonna parliament. Nothing them way governments official and also then officially talk say nothing them way them if you left to them be one members of parliament them pass all of them in to law, but one of the members of parliament then be decide say una they accept some and some they will not accept. I just ask you the same question. You there from the ruling side na parliament, una regret where them party na the bill, especially we get for do with the safe seats for the woman them and the same way civil servant them for resign, where them be one for like be 6 months, where maintain 12 months. Una regret we una able for pass them parts in it.
Nobody regrets when you do the good, when you do the right thing. If you do the wrong thing, I dey regret. For we as members of parliament, what we do, I will tell you categorically say, there is anxiety out there. Everybody wants the best for woman them, and I should say, Marcella said no say me na male champion, right across. Nothing on the way would they do even the female anthem as I be singer because me na male champion. But the point now that we got to be mindful of a number of other things there. What in there at 59 is better than what was in 55. Because 55 not only they create the reserve seats for female, but it say other categories as members of parliament may determine. So you mean to say we can create reserve seats for women there, but within that reserve seat they will create additional reserve seats for disabled we will contest the woman still, or we create additional reserve seats for say trade union or say motor drivers union. We will still put them under pressure. We will mean to say, or the youth. We will mean to say we will not create more than the 2 type of members of parliament they waiting at 74. Now one number 2, we don't create additional burden for them. Now, Lord go in 59 do. 59 will accept. The honorable for me colleague don't say. Look Poloko for example. Poloko get 10 seats, 10 man there. This new bill they say Poloko next 2023. Whether na PR, whether na this, whether na first past the post, Poloko with 7 man, 3 woman. That is a major leap. At least 3 women. That is at least the minimum. Go to some holiday.
Now, seem for they agree with each other.
No, we know they agree. Now the facts are not the
surprisingly for listeners and viewers, surprisingly today, Honorable Abdul Kargbo they back up Honorable Tawa.
Well, because what we do,
support of it also.
Because what we do have a consensus.
What's not the magic? Why on our students at the same page?
Because what we do have consensus, and we do have in the interest of Sierra Leone. So we will talk from the same page.
Sierra Leone are the ones for Leona self get secured.
No,
security
not there. The only outside security not there for woman. Yeah, I will tell you every day, any time. Whether like what in Marcella begin for say the award of symbol or whatever, no, they translate to winning now Western area. I will tell you for free. Western area, the parties they will give, now they then and we say when a male champion there get additional work for you because Western area is plural. But Kenema, for example, I think I don't know one woman again Josephine Maki or so. Kenema gets 10 seats or 11 seats and get 1 or 2 women there. By the next dispensation, it means to say Kenema go return at minimum 4 women there.
Okay.
Kailau right now gets 4 women there. Kailau is okay. Go to Cambia. Cambia then get 6 men there. 6 men there. Then come on Cambia. By the 6 men there, by the next dispensation, at least Cambia they return 2 women there. So by the time you don't collect all around, the minimum number of women they get, will they move from 18 to at least 40 women in the parliament.
Now, Honorable, following the debate and also the committee stage, following the comment of MPs, them one comment I will take now the comment of the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Segepo Solomon Thomas, where he been pick up say the bill or the clause 55C be over ambitious. Say each district at least 30% woman per district. It thinks they be over ambitious. We mean say the way they draft themselves, it been giddy concern for MPs them say if them pass this automatic PR system for women them. Whose role MPs then they play now them bill before they can learn at the well of Parliament before we go through the first reading and take go the committee stage?
Well, it depending on the level of consultation. Most times, because every MDA get parliamentary oversight committee. So most times when the engagement they begin, whether it's civil society organizations, they can call me like way Marcella say, we don't get a number of engagement in a family kingdom, now this in blue, now Buffet hotel, outside they give me eat, at the end of it they give me fuel. So it was not over ambitious 30%. What you don't achieve yet now, it's more than 30%, I'll tell you. Every day anytime. This is fixed. More than 30%. Now, look out to the issue of 76(1), the resignation period. You know, Section 35 of the Constitution say political parties they conform with the spirit and intent of the 1991 Constitution. If you look political party, the requirements forget symbol as members of Parliament. Say you forget membership for at least 3 years continuous. I think that one they run across APC, SLPP, C4C, NGC. Now, civil servants, they are not politicians. We have to accept now, and they accept when they say civil servants are politicians. But the assumption is that civil servants are not politicians. And if they are not politicians, if political party, then constitution they say, for let you qualify for get symbol, you for don't get continuous membership for 3 years, then even if we say 6 months, they still don't qualify. Because the political party constitution don't restrict them for be aspirants by any elections because civil servants are not politicians. So for us, we'll be there in a very difficult position because even if we take 6 months, it don't go solve the problem. Even the 1 year, they solve the problem. Even the 1 year, they solve the problem. The 1 year, now meander no more people, they meander around them because we want to create a situation and we want sticking points where we get, where we go now the consultation, we all agree as to how to ensure say we remove politics in the civil service space. Because we don't see over the period, we see where election they can this now. You go see civil servant, also they wear green, they go work, also they wear red, they go get party emblem, get, and that is not the essence of being in the civil service. And over the years, the civil service they always they play the game of owner with the suffer. Today, they party A, tomorrow party A come out, next tomorrow A. Now so now we the suffer now so because the winner this party today. So 76(1), the drafters of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, be the continue for anticipate say civil servants are not part of politics. Okay. We want for enhanced woman representation. We want for ensure say progressively we move as a nation. And trust me, any day, any time, Even the PPRC bill, where they can parliament, we think for those women them, we will protect them and we will ensure say we support them.
Continue for the with we inside the program. Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte. We come to we other studio guests. The program we na Marcella Sambasise, Executive Director CGG. We na campaign for good governance and also chairperson for new. Before we look at other issue, quick one inside the bill with them fully. You don't get the explanation from the MPs them, and they are sure woman then say what you need. It is more than what they give.
So I would introduce another issue of interest shortly, but I'll respond to some of the points that they advance. And thankfully, Honorable Tawa just respond to your question. We see how much we engage on this, and it all allude to the fact that there was intense engagement for promoting understanding around women's political participation. But honestly, you know, that particular clause from within Honorable say it will reinforce a two-party democracy. You see the two examples we've been cosmopolitan society like Western area. You know they address them. But it bring Kenema as example, it bring Potloko as example. We have 17 political parties. What about the women in those parties? Don't forget, women are not an homogeneous group. Family, what homogeneous group mean? People like a mistake. Woman, they support herself. No, we are not the same. Not feel say because we are woman, we thinking them different. Not feel say we are woman, all they think the same, all they dress the same, all they work at the same, all they see things the same. No, we're not a homogeneous group, just like the man then. We self get interests, we self get groupings. There are various categories of women. There are disabled women, there are rural women, there are educated women, there are women with diverse interests and skills. So we are not an homogeneous group. So you say what we say, when society exclude woman, this particular provision of two-party democracy they cater for. Now the woman then two-party I go benefit. Women are public participation promoters. We they look at all man. Now in the interest of everybody now they talk. How do we get other women in 17 political parties involved? How do we get other women who otherwise, because the public space is contentious. Even me where they civil society as a woman, I know the kind fiber I get for carry for then a public space. Woman, they know they come because the space contentious. But the value what it bring is that when they see the affirmative action of 30% and see 30% of their likes, they feel comfortable for letting themselves enter the space. The more women that we get, the more the tension around women's participation will be diffused. So I just they say, in as much as then they say add value, the value will add limited. And I think same me one for appeal to Mr. Speaker, because His Excellency the President, he don't pass on a cabinet, he don't make several commitments to the affirmative action. Me one for appeal to Mr. Speaker, like consider with gender appeal. Okay, I want to introduce this a condition. And all around citizens participation.
Before you introduce that other issue, what do you think about the national identification number? When I want the thing them will be inside this bill, but the members of parliament no end up grief for them. What's your take on that?
So now the thing that they were introduced, now I make us say something deal when it comes to these issues. Now allow law put country first. There is a time for politics, there is a time for process. And politicians, they're not good with process, whether they like it or not.
So this whole bill a politics play?
Politics play highly. Remember this studio, in fact, the first person they called me for go AYV, I said, many a times, you bring us to a debate and we have to shout over. Sometimes right now I'm advanced in age. So I never mean I've been jumping, don't pass. And therefore they take things safu.
So the politics where you say highly play
over them,
the politics where you
just a minute, Mabel. We therefore really they talk over them parties there. Sometimes it's not good. We don't sit down in a very decent, that's what democracy describes, dialogue. We don't sit down in a very decent Honorable Tawa say okay, it's fine lunch, we don't sit down in a very decent environment, work it to them here. And so we want to see a conversation now in parliament because that is their space to debate. Then jump come on a parliament, then can't sit on a radio, then they check the thing they support her, then they be and then on social media. This was not the intention.
So the kind of politics we play inside this, how you go describe them? Is it that same politics we don't see APC against SLPP or APC SLPP, PMD, NGC and all within a parliament just agree as one? Now this particular politics we say play
because they don't allow the edification for take preeminence. By the time I was like, Where is National Electoral Commission? Sorry, Electoral Commission Sierra Leone in all of this. By the time ECSL understand say the debates they be swayed in the side who side the intention not being the way they come, voice system they don't take over now. I see people then just say things where not being get foundation.
So you can prefer for the people of Salone for being finally and agree for the NIN?
So that's the point I'm coming to now. And one good philosopher he talk say fine for let you start at the beginning. This NIN is not just come out now sky. This NIN come up a law. In Parliament of Sierra Leone, whether it was the last parliament or this one, Parliament of Salone, I passed that law. Then passed that law there 2016. And for the first time, for us as democracy promoters, we been get problems with them. Because we not be ever sabi how for do civic and voter registration. I have done elections in several contexts. In fact, I will be the first country where blend civic and voter education because it's germane. It's never happened. We not in Sabu side for land from safe. But then we succeed eventually. The register come out, albeit it has its challenges. Some people name not spell fine. The usual problems they know. And up till now, so some of the adjudication they around the register not really happen. But the register still come out. But there are particular information gone out of law. You know, one thing I want for saying, I make a gladdy where you set the tone of this particular engagement. You say that we use them for citizens' education and as lesson learning. Any society get for account for its citizens. No society not they will not sabi me. How I go there and not get a system where sabi we all within IASO. Today somebody go wake in the morning it all 45. Tomorrow when opportunity come it all 43. The next time when opportunity come it all 21. No, the national system for cater for the data from birth till the person die. So in actual fact, the national civil registration then processes them, it compulsory, it permanent, and it continuous. And so the question will be for ask around the name will not really been the ask because the noise been too plenty around and everybody be the project in your interest. Waiting at this data, and we still they can ask that question, do you? We want that information. Waiting at the data we NCRA don't collect. We need that. They need to be precise. Now that question they will for us, then we know almost posting the inside the register. It was not an outright we don't want the name. No, it's I will say we don't want the logo we don't create. So the need is very important. The national identification number is a unique identifier for every citizen. And I think that's a right issue too. Because if Kimon any country, he get rights to get access to birth certificates and he get rights to get access to citizenship. Another institution there for make a name the inside the system. So for electoral purposes, we believe say part of the contention. And that is why I said all of NTSO emanates from a vacuum. Part of the contention will be get with elections. We can team up so as observers. We don't even know if not true or not true. If somebody saying a citizen come out Guinea, they need a kind side. It come out Liberia, a kind side. We can't verify if in a citizens because of the nature of the three societies, the interconnectedness. You cannot say the person not a citizen or not. But the thing rather for verify waiting they make somebody citizen of Sierra Leone. That law they been don't put on 2016. Of course, there are challenges with the implementation. A number of things that we observe the civil, the confirmation and registration process of the civil register. There were issues, we brought those issues to the fore. But since they have a permanent process, and I think they want to appeal to the members of parliament then, because now then they represent we. We must ask NCRA about that process. The need for telling about that process. Okay. A lot of government and other resources don't go inside that process. And we not just get for left hanging. We don't go pull the name, but investments don't happen. And it's a fundamental feature of any governance system. Every citizen must be identified. If Marcella can't talk, Sierra Leone and the Hala, where Marcella in all of this conversation, are they talking now? They cut me.
We'll come back to you.
We'll come back to you for can talk about this NIN number. Name Marcella Samba Sise, Executive Director CGG and Chairperson National Elections Watch. The program like Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM.
Well, we will continue to look at more issues inside the program as we tell you this morning at 1 pound with headlines to read them. So we go bring on our updates about the change where President BO make yesterday in our government. Also, we been see State House been pull a press release. Also, a new appointments them be announced and say it please the president for appoint William Fayaselu as Inspector General of Police, Mrs. Elizabeth Ture, Director of Police Affairs at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Mr. Amadou Manna as Senior Technical Advisor, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Colonel Retired Bine Conte, Commissioner, Sierra Leone National Commission on Small Arms, Mr. Sir Moy, Deputy Minister 2, na the Ministry of Agriculture, and finally, Alhaji Dr. Alpha Bakar Sahid Kanu, Presidential Spokesman. Well, how this been happened yesterday, we get on the phone now, the press secretary, Wena Yusuf Keketuma Sandy. Good morning, welcome to the program. Good morning, Salone.
Good morning, Mabel, and good morning, the people of Salone, and thanks for having me.
Inform the change where President Bio make yesterday, the appointments them where people and see, it make to different people and serve some people we don't drop. What happened?
Well, I can always say, the Constitution gives president the power for make he appoint people and also if he reach them we say he need more new people for add value. He can always add them, and then one day will be there. He can either reassign them back for God aside or probably relieve them. So this is not any exceptional situation, but I think you also nice like I can always say whenever they see they happen. The one that we don't serve for make us start by commending them. So I will start first with the former IG, Mr. Suvula will be there. This report we all know say he be enlisted in the police since 1980. When we say up until now, he served the police for 42 years. For serving a public service of 42 years, not a very long time. And because of that service they will give, on behalf of the president, I want to tell him plenty thank you. And hope say we wish her the very best in the new endeavors. But we also look forward. We also now get a new IG in the police, where William Fayaselu. William Fayaselu, everybody know within the police say now somebody when a disciplinarian and was very strict. And this person back we get a very colorful experience within the police. So for instance by 2000, and then he enlisted the police. In fact, in 1993, when we say it don't take quite some time, he also don't go through the rank. And in 2000, they appoint him as Chief Security Officer to the former president, the late Tijan Kaba. He served it in 2007. Also, he don't be head of CDIID in 2012. By 2013, he also be commander for the Salone contingent in the UN mission at Darfur. And he also served in 2017 as commandant at police training school. Who came in 2018, they appointed him as director Joint Presidential Guard Force. He commanded 2019, they appointed him as director Integrated Intelligence Service. By 2020, he also served as regional commander South. And the last appointment before this one, the director of crime services. We really want to make a good role about telling say the possible they can head the police now. Not only that, a much younger person, very dynamic somebody, but also it all rise through the rank in many different areas within the police. So I think say it will put all the experience that they don't get to make sure say the police continue for reform, and the police also continue to make sure say them be a force for good and serve the people of this country diligently and make sure say the police stands tall in whatever they do.
Okay, Mr. Sandy, back to Usai starts for address, and they appreciate the one them we don't drop out of the governance now. One gets for do with the former Inspector General. We up until yesterday na been we IG, but we see a change don't happen there. Even at school where you go school and they promote you where you do well, and they demote you or make you repeat where you not do well. Now waiting happen we make the president decide yesterday say Concerns that don't come from the public, of course, for say them for drop the IG, if it be changed because according to some people, and not only perform well. Is it because of them concerns and they and in performance, especially issue where come this BNTM gets for do it and unidentified concern and ignite this particular decision?
Well, what I would say now, the fact say, I start by saying we don't serve 42 years by the police. So it means that by 2022, if we don't pass a retirement age in the first place. But we all get concerns when they work in a public service. Waiting making normal elect for do that when I get the opportunity there, the people that we don't serve in public service, rather than for me we go back into waiting people and think, waiting and not think. I feel say the president always when they appoint person on trust because you know say this person is capable. But at every point in time, back where you know say at this point in time, he won't forget the organization or the ministry to a different trajectory. It can always add more value or add count new people or reassign people in. So I have to make this opportunity for commend the IG rather than for make probably I begin to speculate like the public on waiting the IG not do waiting not do. Yes, during the internal there are challenges. There are many concerns where there is, but I also believe that in 42 years of service, I think say he also served this country diligently and serve this country with good conscience.
You make mention of in age. Retirement now one way if the office of the president they send make somebody go because of retirement, so I can state and clearly say this person they proceed on retirement, another person they take up in position. But this press release will come yesterday from our office. We not see nothing like retirement. For the IG, they ask again, is it retirement on a sack the president sack him? Because we not indicate whether or not a retirement as una be done use for do.
No, what I tell you say the IG don't pass in retirement age.
Retirement make the president relieve him on a sack is sack him.
No, at the come. The IG don't pass in retirement age. There are many considerations where president they use for relief person or reassigned person. Waiting make you always want to use this opportunity where person on serve with for a very long time. Now for commend the person for establishing of the nation, because for some even one in a public service, let's alone for head police, now a very challenging job. And that is why we always want for commend people that we don't serve in a public service. Now the speculation on whether now retirements now and all that thing now, we will never get to the public. On behalf of the president, because you don't serve this country for so long, we want for commend them. But importantly, one for look forward. What is this new IG for carrying like the police? What is that trend? What is that the thing will learn from the former IG maybe today? And I make a talk say this as somebody where they come IG fire tell you that a disciplinarian is respected and also he don't go through the ranks. He don't serve in many areas. He go use that experience for continue to reform the police and make the police a force for good.
So, Mr. Yusuf Kekotoma Sandy, I know man follow you left these speculations to the public because when they work for the public and answerable to the people of Salone. I they ask again if na retirement this on a sack because you say you want for left this speculation to the public, but I believe say you then at the office of the president and you are available to the public for answer questions from the public.
And now the same question and the answer they give answer. Not necessarily mean the answer we want now for give. The answer what they give now the fact say president gets many considerations where they use for relief person or reassigned person to a different role. On this occasion, president don't think say it good for let me get somebody way much younger for can help the police, somebody will get qualities the way will lead the police for become a force for good, but also the challenges that and concerns will be there from the former IG. Let this new IG may learn from that day for say how go better the police. And at that day we don't make their appointment there. But also something that I want to touch more because the 6 posts where they appoint like a good friend of mine when Alaji Dr. Bakar Said Kanu where they appoint now as presidential spokesperson. By
Nadia they come now, hello.
Yes.
Now that's not be me second question for ask you where gets for do with their appointments here. You said the president gets so many things where they take into consideration. Well, I don't know if now committee they advise the president as to other them for appoints for working governance. This position where the president don't give to Alhaji Dr. Alpha Khan, where people popularly known as Alpha Khan, as presidential spokesperson. How the president reached to this decision, taking into consideration from the last public engagement we've been getting with Honorable Alpha Khan, and I've been a strong member of the APC. How the president reached to this decision for appoint him?
Well, once again, thank you very much for this question, because this don't exhibit say last week when Dr. Samuel Kama go McKinney go tell people and say only people when they say who are busy. Now get the appointment of this government, it is factually inaccurate and a purely tribal bigotry. Because Dr. Alpha Kano they say who are busy, Dr. Alpha Kano so mende, and it tell you say that politics we just write about tribal division. And this is a possible it serves under the APC government, and they can't serve now. It is served also under the SNP government. But because of the experience we don't get, they go use them for making advice to the presidency. But more importantly, now somebody will go give the testimony say, I be served under APC, I be served president and former President Kuma. Now I be served President Bio. Then two people there, he go able to give a testimony for say, indeed, in 4 years, what President Bio don't do. He's far outweigh and far more part waiting the former president we don't do, because now you get from the horse's mouth. Somebody will get comparative experience. Somebody will know what the presidency all about, because he don't get experience for Saturday. And I want to welcome him for Canada team, and I know say it go add enormous value to the team.
So all this experience when you talk say Honorable Alpha Kano gets where they part of the governance system now. I just want to draw you back, Mr. Sandy, if you remember waiting be inside the GTT reports where President said we don't make some statements and also refer to the people and work at the past government as Steve Mandem and people will be the lie and all of that. Waiting change will make we see all praises they go out to Honorable Alpha Kano where we don't bring up to the presidency in advising team.
So I mean the GTT report was very clear saying more than 71% of the people already be appointed in the former government. Now people already from on one side and people already talk one language. Those are things the way they have been verified, the facts are there. Now, there has because you go beyond tribalism. Now for me to get intolerance to a particular tribe. So therefore for that person to go back and say, come the one never go and be saying I need a point, you understand? It's not correct. Because even last year, the mayor of Ctedit Council, Mayor Kisha, we talk about who have been said. So we, for use politics for unite the country, we for use politics for make sure say the division the way they we try to eliminate them. And the presidents want to talk all the time. Presidents will go 98, we talk say, if they appoint people away, then competent, and people away no say go deliver, and people away trust, and people away believe in vision. Dr. Alpha Khan believe in a vision. Dr. Alpha Khan want come for can support a president for make sure say the plenty work we don't do for make sure say we get more visibility. But more importantly, like I say, now somebody will get experience because if you don't serve during APC and serve former President Kuma. So now it will give testimony for say where are the APC government? Now this and this and this. But this government is better part of government will be there. And this president will get vision, the president will want to do the right thing, and president will love and believe in this country.
So also we go see replacements at the space them we empty right now due to disappointments we come on yesterday because the Northwest two side Honorable Alpha Khan been there. We not see any announcements for person we go there. The deputy IG when I been a female where the president don't send a Ministry of Internal Affairs, we not see again person where he replace them with. When we go see replacements for them space here.
Well, as you know, maybe my own job, now where the president not making decision, they give the instruction, say, not so as so I want to do, then me conference to the public. I go assure you, say, and assure the people of this country, say, when that decision is being taken, and the presidency will communicate that day to the people of this country. But the important thing of all of what we do, now for sure, say, we get a president who believe in one country and one people, and anybody who is competent, anybody who believe in your vision, you go able to serve them regardless of who you born, regardless of the tribe, and regardless of the people you associate yourself with.
Finally, before you the left way, Mr. Sandy, we get about 1 year to the election, and you as the presidential spokesman, as the press secretary, be done the occupy position as press secretary and also be the talk for the president. When I be in that position, the people be the refer say, now you position down the way now we don't go to Honorable Alpha Khan. You think so you don't perform well? We make 1 year to election, the president don't appoint somebody for being spokesman compared to the work where you be done they do as president, as press secretary, and that's of the president is spokesman?
Well, 2018 when they appoint me, my substantive role na be press secretary. Now obviously for manage the media relations around the president and for connect with the public through media engagement. Now as we go along from 2018, we will also see the presidential spokesperson a whole day. But the president be say make a add to my responsibility. So therefore we not get substantive possible to occupy that position there. But now let's say they can't do election. Now let's you get coach of the football team. If they say one man they play up front and they play different role them, but you say okay, now not change strategy small. This one man not get possible but we go up for make we score but goal because elections they come. So now we don't do. So just don't make sure say now we get substantive posting for occupy the office for presidential spokesman. And I want to welcome Dr. Alpha Bakal Saikan because I'm not saying as somebody where like a good friend of mine, he get enormous experience, he can add value at State House. Because at the end of it, like I say, one for sure this country say, you get a presidential belief say, anybody can able to serve this country, regardless of your tribe, of your region, or who say you born, or who say you come on. When means say, we good friend at the APC, or Dr. Tawa Kamara for land say, also just people away to be say, who are be say, now get number of their point. This not exhibit say, this is believe in one country, one people.
Many thanks for you joining at the program. That's Yusuf Keke Thomas Sandy, the press secretary in our State House, but they give updates on the change them where President Bio make yesterday in our government. The program Good Morning Salone, they continue.
And we studio guest them inside the edition of the program. We talk about the public elections bill at the Council Honorable Abdul Kargbo Ide Naya. So as the acting Secretary General for the All People's Congress Party, Honorable Abdul Kargbo will a little bit pull you off the public elections bill and look at the latest appointment to say one of the appointees, Alpha Khan, the last time member of the All People's Congress Party. So we still ask, Alpha Khan still a member of the All People's Congress Party, we now advisor to what they say, spokesperson to president.
Well, when I get forgive me time for go to the current register of the party and watch whether I name the in a fully paid up member.
You in any way don't receive any resignation letter from Alpha Khan in recent time?
No, from where I come now office I not receive no resignation from her.
Before you come now office, you meet any resignation letter from?
Not at all.
So we mean he's still a member of the party?
Well, I can't say until I look the register and see. Because registered members of the party, we get a database. And from that database, you can able to ascertain who than a registered member.
Alright, so we come back to the issue there for this morning. We get to do the bill with the members of parliament agree for yesterday. I'm just going to start with you for talk as we take a cue from waiting Marcella be done the talk earlier. We be the talk about the national identification number when I want pan the thing them we be inside this bill where one of the members of parliament no being agree for. Waiting at the issue where the All People's Congress APC party been gets with this NIN where we see the members of parliament not agree for.
Well, basically when I listen Marcella argument, waiting on my mind now the conflict between morality and law. Morality now waiting good or waiting bad, and waiting against waiting lawful. He spoke of he talked about the NIN we me feel say yes, NIN very important for we as a nation. NIN go make everybody get a specific identification so that anything we do now, any side way they go now, they will able to identify you easily. But it's not lawful for let use NIN for let people let vote, for qualified people let for vote. Section 31 is very clear in the constitution. They say for let person vote, 1, the person get for be 18 years or above, 2, the person get for be citizen, and 3, the person for be of sound mind. So if you don't of sound mind, you get 18 years or above, or you be citizen, nothing will stop you letting you vote. Now that make when you go to section 24 of the now public of the extant law now, the Public Elections Act of 2022. It say waiting for qualifying for register. Now that one, you forget birth certificate. 2, you forget any statutory instrument where they declare you birth. 3, even if somebody na your community stakeholder, they say we sabi maybe na this your community day. Even you not get any document, but just with the testimony of a stakeholder, they get right for allow you for vote.
So what's be una concern? Is it because the drafters of the bill no can go as a constitutional amendment, or una just feel say something else been under that particular clause? The way make una not agree for them?
We waiting a big concern that we not be want adjust the constitution with this bill.
Una be wale come separate as constitutional
amendment. If NIN for be a compulsory requirement, we for adjust section 31 of the constitution, which the 3 requirements where any citizen forget for let be eligible for be registered. You see, but we see NIN now, like when Marcella they say, nobody know waiting at the current status, waiting at the current updates of the database, now the NIN. They have never made it public. You don't know how many people get NIN. You don't know who that gets, who that not get. And you know go say now elections they can use for make everybody get NIN. Remember there were people in a village, even the one line for go register first na problem. Some man can go to we say no, say no, at the turn back now. Now you go make them 2 line. You discourage people from participating in the voting process. And the constitution no dandy. Now that make the constitution very clear. Say, even in the case that you not get no document for present, even at the testimony of stakeholder in your community, then for register you for vote. So not to vote, not to voting, you use for take actions against people them. So we not conform to what you tell them. Not to voting you use, because the essence of voting now for make them participatory, for make sure so you not deprive anybody. So we actions against the NIN now 1 because we feel say the constitution is very clear. Now 3 requirement the constitution give. We know say everybody is supposed to forget birth certificate. Once you born as Salone, you forget birth certificate. But you see section 24 of the extant law that the one we approved yesterday, it states and clear, even if you not get birth certificate safe, even if you not get birth certificate, just with the recommendation or the testimony of a stakeholder, then supposed to register you.
Okay, Honorable Abdul Kargbo, continue for the with me inside the program. The producers they don't signal to be say then add 15 minutes to the program as we don't pass the normal time. We in at 9 o'clock. They continue for look at issues inside the public elections bill where they don't turn to law. Yesterday we come to Honorable Tawa on the issue of the NIN. And now one thing you've been the support passionately during the debates, but at the end of the day, the expunge.
Well, let's start for saying nothing on the expunge the bill. That they on record for saying that, and they say nothing on the expunge the bill. The issue nomenclature change, and if you look at what you would approve now in the bill, now section 13(3), it said notwithstanding anything contained in this act, it said the Electoral Commission may modify the format, content, and design of the register of voters for the effective performance of its function. So as far as we concerned, nothing not modify. What do you agree in the consultation on that? Because of them now be wants for, like what Marcella say, foresee the implementation of a legal act of parliament passed in 2016, the NCRA Act. And the NCRA Act in section 25, it said the NCRA they provide data to category of agency, and among the agencies to the Ministry of Internal Affairs or Police Recruitment, Ministry of Defense, and the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone. Now, if they are providing this data, they could do 2017 for the registration, and the data already provide for them for form the voter register, they already count NIN. If the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone do anything to that data, data tampering, and they cannot. So what in the Electoral Commission say now that we are going to transition the name from national identification number to voter identification number. It's a unique number they generate for every registered voter. And part of the data already used for registered voter are the NCRA data. And the NCRA data they generate unique NIN number. So it is a matter of nomenclature transitioning the NIN to VIN. That is one. Number 2, I also see me brother tweet say don't put PR. PR not come on. You don't have parliament.
We can look at.
I come. Let's just if PR not come out.
We can look at PR. Don't just look at the NIN.
The point now that's the nomenclature. Almost here PR now phrase and a phrase that for the election of member of parliament, with the exception of parliamentary member of parliament, we go use the procedure we enshrined in the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6. What's the provision that we enshrined in the 1991 Constitution? Now either first past the post in 38(2) or proportional representation in 38(a). So whatever it is, it might not be as it can say we state the provision there word for word, but the rephrasing of the wording for 57 means it captured both 38(2) single member first past the post constituency system, at the same time it captured proportional representation. So for me, like you say in the presentation, I believe parliament now something I don't say all the time, even where they talk about other things them, accountability and all, and that parliament for be seen as the institution where they pass law, they able for uphold the dictates of their laws. Then we passed, whether not the 4th parliament, the 5th parliament, 3rd parliament, like Marcella say, parliament is continuity. Whatever you do is the parliament of Sierra Leone. Anybody want to go on the website of parliament, where they check now the website of the parliament of Sierra Leone. So it is very, very disheartening for let we set up an institution. They will not believe in the data of the institution they provide. Now, coming to the records from NCRA, from what me get from them, from the information where I get from them, and the last way the NCRA boss then also. Now that's the non-do registration of about 90% of Sierra Leone and about 6 million people them. Okay. And the registration as a day in section 37, it is compulsory, it is continuous. As at today, then get registration center now every district. People they walk in and go do the NCRA registration because everybody aware say nothing not do perfect. Like what the past not do perfect. So the challenge is they will in the registration process for correct them before the election or before them pass that decided to ACSL. Now you make the registration is continuous in the law.
So in as much as that they continuous, you just don't make mention of the PR system where they optional to the first past the post system where Salone they practice right now. As a member of parliament, quickly before we come to Marcella, what you would advise in terms of this coming election? Should Sierra Leone go in for the PR system or the first past the post where we already the practice?
I will start to say, look at good benchmarks them. Look at countries there, the most peaceful and the happiest country in the world. This now data, verifiable data. Now the Nordic countries there, now Iceland, now Finland, now Denmark, now Sweden. All the countries there are proportional representation they practice. Yeah. But for me, let her finish. For me, one of the constituency na constituency 132. When they go na Juba, that lane where they pass, maybe Sabi, for go na Juba, that entire lane there on the right. Not so constituency 132, not long than they own. But when they get a problem, so many they come. Then they go to Aberdeen from along the police station. They go to Ctedit Bridge. Not so constituency 132. So
yes, say you prefer for we.
So it means already we are practicing PR in default because if I address issue we get for do with the filling station where they born, now me go settle the issue with the mosque. But if I address issue we get for do with Lumley police station, if I address issue we get for do with Juba, that area there, that particular section there, we not to make constituency. You need to say already the PR system, what they ask for. Now for long collaborate. We are the past law. Let me finish, Musa. We as members of parliament with the past laws. We give MDS the responsibility, say, let them go coordinate. But we cannot coordinate. What are we saying? We say we they give responsibility, we discharge responsibility. PR system, the only way they say now that if na 7 constituency there, now 1 block, una 7. Una all, whether 2 now from APC, 1 from SAPP, 1 from C4C, una all for able for come together for advocate for them people and they for address the issues, for represent.
So not such an parliament inside this bill.
Not such a the bill. The bill say the election of members of parliament, with the exception of parliamentary member of parliament, will be done as enshrined in the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991. Okay. Which is 1991, 38(2) and 38(a).
Would only the Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte, would come to Marcella Sambasisi inside the program, the issue of the PR system in the coming election. Now, according to the constitution, it left to the president whether or not. From the campaign for good governance perspective, what you would foresee in the coming election, or what you would prefer, the old system or the PR system?
You see, that's the debates that we don't go into. one as elections professionals and two as democracy campaigners. You don't discuss PR and first past the post electoral system as this against this. No. So what you do is, what is the question? What exactly do you want to address? Look at the context. What's feasible? What's in at the problem within at the context? So you really think say X or Y go address and how you want to address them. I think say until we get that conversation there, and not a conversation the way they happen overnight. You know, because people need to understand what they do. I think one of the word we don't current now this conversation or participation. People get for participate and they get for understand what they participate, man. And so may not they discuss first past the post versus PR. As apart from the fact that men are civil society activists, men are political scientists, and I know say each of the two systems getting merit, each of the two systems getting value they are done in society, but each of the two systems get cutbacks, and I then cut back then you they look at carefully for say who's one and then 2 years so make this country prone to progress or they push it towards instability. And I think Senator Demi want for end this morning. And I want to use the opportunity as a campaigner say, let we all try to mobilize the society towards peace and democracy for the next election. I think say this unnecessary contention. You see, one of the lessons we learn from the PR is much ado about nothing. Noise. People don't forget say even the law is there inside it. I make one of the things that CGG Obin don't stand on. We say let me take the onus for holistically look at the 1991 Constitution, because we're not going to progress with progressive clauses and recommendation. Then the 1991 Constitution hold we back. If inside the public will there for change, the 1991 Constitution hold we back. So let me consider the thing there seriously. And at the end, Usaya starts. Politicians are not the best people for processes, because vested interests naturally they come. There is time for politics, there is time for process. Let me put country first as we move to the elections 2023.
All right, many thanks on our gentlemen at the program this morning. Many thanks on our journey at the program this morning as we look at public elections, deal with members of parliament and the for yesterday, and I see
Well, of course, I think.
Yes, very short.
1 minute.
Yes, very short.
You could take
please, my brother na Tawa say the NIN na the same with the VIN when we don't put. I want to say not to the same. Let everybody go back. Let it take a voter's ID card. We vote with 2018. Let it watch the on top there then get ID number. Me you now I get now 4064757. All voters ID card get ID number. That ID number the voters identification number. Yeah, not to the NIN, quite different. They also say that the PR is still in at this act. You know, did it? Yeah. In they say, waiting and putting at the act, then put the PR and the first past the post as alternative.
That's why you not the 1991 Constitution.
No, not to say the 1991 the Constitution where they amend it states clearly say except where they don't anytime where they announce the date for election, then constituency no exist. The president can proclaim. But if they don't announce constituency exists, president, it just feel bad like the speaker of parliament could act as the president, but he could always act in the absence of the president and the vice president.
From your own perspective or party standpoint, what do you prefer going into the next election?
The PR bad. Because with the PR, I tell you, they even know that I'm a member of parliament. We don't practice PR. When I was in Poloko, we get 4 members of parliament just in Poloko Central, one constituency. We get 4 members of parliament.
So the people in Poloko, the member of parliament on our developments.
No, therefore no, because now the members of parliament get to represent the people. How you will represent Oda, you don't know. Oda will go talk with a problem na parliament. Oda will go talk you concerns na parliament.
So finally, as to the wrap of the program, this is a good bill we don't agree for, especially when they go into elections.
Yeah, I feel say because it gets some challenges, but we not go to dominate everything 100%.
Okay.
So basically, we don't.
Honorable Tawa, we wrap up the program with you. This bill we wanna pass na good bill for Salone people, and especially where the country go into elections.
Now, a very good bill, and it addresses the issues the way they emerge, the issue of violence in elections, the issue of increased women participation, the issue of targeting things the way overvoting. So I mean, a very good bill.
Alright, so we'll not be asked Marcella Samba to say if na a good bill is because the country they go into election. Is it a good bill with the members of parliament?
A fundamental of aspect of democracy is winner participation. Then just don't agree with me, say when we talk about waiting they introduce for women, yes, a progress from Musa with it, but a small progress to the effort and energy we don't put into this campaign because I mean the 33% where they talk not to including it. It's a small progress. We therefore really consider say this particular aspect 17 political parties now 2 parties no more benefit. They not benefit the other smaller parties because members make the examples of both, they make the example of Obali, the areas that Kelema they say we get in block. But what about the other areas? Women's participation is key, and we still want to talk say the minimum of 30%. So there's an affirmative action, there's local council. We get PCMPs, we get them as well, we get board chairs, we get members within a cabinet as well. So we need that across the board, and we not lost that conversation there.
Alright, many thanks for joining the program this morning. We've been getting Marcella Samba from CGG, Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte from constituency 132, and also we've been getting Honorable Abdul Kargbo, constituency 077 Nalungi. Now this edition of the program, Good Morning Salone Golefuna. Plenty thank you to the production team. Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Kroma produced the program. DJ Lava give technical support. Usman Kamara and Samuel Hompa make una see live on Facebook. Until then, Mabel Kabade say get yourself a wonderful day and goodbye.
And Musa Kamara they say bye bye.